Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May God bless us all with His peace, mercy, and blessings. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now, today we will begin with Surah Fatiha. Now, all my presentations are catering to, to the teenagers as well as the men and women, the older women, men and women also who have very little or no knowledge of Quran. Our purpose of beginning this series is not just to read and understand the word-to-word Quran meaning, just to understand and quickly finish the Quran. That's not our intention. But we should be able to understand each ayah in depth so we get the message which Allah is trying to convey to us and how we can benefit from it and use it in our real life. Now, our intention is to derive a message from the knowledge we have gained and how we can apply it in our life in order to live a better, happier, and a content life. Now, I don't want to make I don't want to make just an extra addition in your bag of knowledge, which you are already carrying on your heads in your busy lives. But my intention is to make you think about it, and it should result in answers to the questions which keep popping in your minds. There are a lot of questions you have in your mind. You should be able to find the answer to those questions while you read read and understand the Quran. Now, we will begin with Surah Fatiha. Now, we are going to spend some extra time with this special surah to understand it deeply, because the Surah Fatiha is the most important surah of the Quran. We will be able to cover only maybe half, maybe not even, maybe half of the surah today, because we want to focus on the quality of our comprehension. We want to make sure we understand the real message of this first and most important surah. This is the first, and this is the first surah in the book, and it is the most important surah. Now, first of all, when we begin, we always begin with A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. The meaning is, I seek refuge with Allah. Means I seek protection. I seek Allah's protection against the shaitan, who is the accursed one. It means we give ourselves in Allah's protection. Okay, so that's the meaning of A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Now, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now, mostly you will see Bismillah and the Rahman in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. This is mostly now we read everywhere. This is the meaning given, but I have a little different meaning to it. I say, in the name of Allah, the entirely merciful and especially merciful. Now, this meaning, if you understand, then it will be really clear to you. So we will learn the meaning of Ar-Rahman, Bismillah, Ar-Rahman. Bismillah, be from isim in the name of Allah. Be isim Allah, in the name of Allah. But Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, we will do it in the next verse, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. That time we will do it. But let's now, first of all, let's talk about the importance of this surah. Surah Fatiha literally means open. It means the opening. It means the opening, because the Quran opens with this surah. It is the first surah of the Quran and is considered its greatest surah. And this was the first complete surah which was revealed down. Now, there's something very unique about it, that there is no prayer or no literature, a piece of literature or no piece of any statement of any man in the world ever who was recited as much as these verses from Allah. Nothing has been repeated, spoken, or recited as much as these verses of Surah Fatiha. Every practicing Muslim recites Surah Fatiha every day. Now let's do some mathematics. Okay, so now in a day, you're praying like approximately, you must be reciting Surah Fatiha like maybe two dozen times. Okay. Now there are almost 2 billion Muslims in the world. So let's multiply that 2 dozen, 24 times 2 billion. Then you're doing it like 365 days a year, every day. So let's multiply that by 365. And then now how many years have passed? More than 1400 years have passed, multiplied by 1400. And then multiply that by the, I don't know how many days are remaining till the day of judgment. So, I mean, you cannot even imagine the number of times this surah is just repeated. Now, there is nothing in all of humanity's history that is or has been recited so frequently and so regularly and so daily. And I think at each point of time, if you just sit, definitely somebody or in the world is reciting this Surah Fatiha, with the time differences. Now, Surah Fatiha is also called al-Kitab. Now, means mother. So Kitab is book. So it's called the mother of the book, because the whole Quran originates from the meaning of Surah Fatiha. Like if you understand the deep meaning of Surah Fatiha, you will understand the whole Quran. It will be easy for you to understand the whole Quran. That's the reason why I'm taking so much time and to go in so much depth only for this surah, because this surah is a very special surah. And the reason why I say it's called like Kitab, and because it's originated from Surah Fatiha, just the same as we originated from our mother, right? We have come from our mother, we were in our mother's womb, and then we grew up and we become young now. So we also, where is our origin taking us back? It's taking us back to our mother, from where we have come. Now, Surah Fatiha seems, it seems like a precise table of contents. When you open a book, any book, you have on the first page, you have the table of contents, and then you refer to that, and then you go into the following chapters in that book. So it's like, Surah Fatiha is like it's like a table of contents of the Quranic message, because it looks like Surah Fatiha. When we do the whole surah, when you'll finish it, you'll see that it's literally the summary of the whole Quran. So that is why I'm going to go in such depth for Surah Fatiha. We need to understand it very thoroughly before we proceed with other surahs of the Quran. Now, let's do the first ayah. Alhamdu means all praise be, lillahi, to Allah, Rabbi, Lord, al-alamin, of the world or of the universe. So it means like all praise and thanks is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Now, we will take one word at a time, and let's go into deep meanings of every word and understand what meaning is hidden behind it. Now, alhamdu, that means alhamd. Hamd is the word. Now, hamd means it is a combination of praise and thanks. Now, what's the meaning of praise? Now, we should know what's the difference between praise and thank. Okay, now I'm going to give you some random examples, and you will understand from it. You'll figure out what it means. Now, first of all, meaning of praise. Now, for example, okay, so there is your neighbor or somebody, there's a little newborn child, a baby is just born. So you just go and see this little newborn child. What will you say? What are you supposed to say? You'll say, oh, so cute. Won't you say that? So will you say thank you? No, you're not going to thank you. You're just going to praise. Or for example, if your friend has got a new Porsche car, what do you say? You'll say, oh, it's awesome. Correct? You don't go like pat on the car and say, thank you so much, car. You're not going to say that. You won't say thank you. You don't do that. What you do, you just praise it. Now, there's now something important to be noted here is that this praise which you're praising, this could be genuine or it could not be genuine. It could be a fake praise. Maybe you didn't like this child. The child was really ugly and you just didn't like the child. Maybe you hate Porsche cars. You wanted a Ferrari. Okay, so when just because it is somebody else, you say, oh, so sweet, oh, awesome, oh, how nice. So it's not necessary that you really like it. Now, so basically, like, I mean, that was just an example I gave you, but if you see something really beautiful, impressive, what do? You praise it. Now, let's come to the meaning of thanks. What's the meaning of thanks? Now, you say thank you to someone who does a favor to you, right? So if say think of soccer player. Okay, let's think of a soccer player. If a soccer player played very well, you don't go and thank him, you go praise him. So when you praise someone, you don't necessarily thank him. And when you thank someone, you don't necessarily praise him, correct? So they are like, both of them are different in these kind of examples. So you may thank someone for giving you a glass of water. Somebody gave you water, you say, oh, thank you. Or someone like opened the door for you, you will say, oh, thank you. Or somebody gave you a seat to sit on, or you say, oh, thank you. You'll just thank that person. But now let's think of some real extreme scenario. Now, if you are walking on the road and a car randomly with full speed coming from far off, and it's coming towards you and it's about to hit you, and there is some young boy at the side, this person, he jumps and pushes you away. What happened? Someone just saved your life, right? So you will thank this person, but you will not just say thank you. No, now there is a different way in which you're going to thank this person. You're going to thank him, plus you are going to be very, very grateful to him, correct? So this kind of a thanking a person is like this, that will involve a praise. You're going to like praise the person, that you're going to say, oh, what a nice person. He came, he risked his life, he jumped and he pushed me away. And at the same time, you're going to be grateful. So this involves praise and gratitude, right? So thank you is a reaction to an action. We can say that. So thank you is always a reaction to an action. You don't walk on the roads and tell everybody, hey, thanks, or you just don't, just thank anybody for anything. There has to be a reaction. It has to be in reaction to something. So sometimes Allah deserves praise, we praise him, and sometimes Allah deserves gratitude. So we combine both in one word, the praise and the gratitude. We combine it in one, and that's called hamd. So instead of praise and gratitude, we say hamd. So why did Allah use hamd to refer to both and not separate between the two? Why did Allah do that? Because separating the two would make it seem as if, if we use it in separately in two different ways, hamd, the praise and thank you. It will mean that as if Allah sometimes deserves thanks and at other times he deserves praise. But rather, he always deserves praise and thanks both together. Don't you agree? So if we only say we praise Allah, it tells us about the present, that it says nothing about the praise existing in the past. Did we praise him in the past? And has got no guarantee for the future that will we praise Allah in the future, correct? So it doesn't cover all of time. But hamd says praise and thanks itself belongs to Allah. Now the word indicates that hamd of Allah is timeless and permanent. That means there is no time. It's always there and it's permanently there. There is no past and present. It's always there, meaning that Allah always deserves praise and thanks. Now, in the context of this verse, it means to show gratitude or appreciation for whatever Allah does for us during all our life. Now, the main problem, with those who don't have strong faith in Allah is that they do not appreciate God, Allah. They don't appreciate him. They lack the hamd. They cannot get themselves to be grateful to him. They always complain about him. Why God allowed evil? Why is it not like that? And why did he do that? So you always like have a complaint that why this bad thing happened. If Allah was there, why did this bad thing happen? Now, just this phrase, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, just this phrase, Alhamdulillah, the word Alhamdulillah, it can actually transform your life. Learn to appreciate. The problems that people face is because they don't know how to appreciate what they have. We are in a complaint circle without gratitude. Now, let me tell you, make a list of the things you have and the things you don't. I will just give a pause and I'll just give you a moment. Now, mentally, quickly, make a list of what you have and then make a list of what you don't. Now, I think the list of what you have is endless, beginning from your own body. You have your eyes, ears, nose, hands, legs. You have your home, you have parents, you can eat food, I mean, there are endless things, all the luxuries of life. You've got so much. And there are a few things which we don't have, but still we complain about that one thing we don't have, correct? Don't you? We always complain to anybody, your mom or your whoever, you will complain, why this and why that. But we have to learn to be saying Alhamdulillah, thank Allah. Now let's go to the next word is Lillahi. That means to Allah. He uses, now here he uses, Allah has how many names? Allah, has 99 names of Allah. But here he does not say anything, but he uses the name Allah and not one of those attributes of the 99 names. Now this is in order to ascertain that there is no confusion as to who is being referred to. This Lillahi is actually introduction to Allah himself. Who God is all, who God is, like who Allah is all mentioned in Surah Fatiha. You will understand the real meaning of Allah in Surah Fatiha. Now, who is Allah? If I ask you, okay, who is Allah? I know from amongst you all, you'll have like different ideas and explanations. You will say that, oh, Allah is our creator. Allah is the most merciful. Allah is that power, a superpower, powerful. Allah is the one who plans everything which happens. Allah is he provides us with everything. He's a provider. Allah is king. Allah is the one who gives us gifts, or Allah is the one who has all the knowledge in the world. And so these are the different descriptions of Allah. Mentioning any one of these attributes or descriptions could give the impression that we are only thanking him due to that one specific attribute. So if I say all praises belongs to Al-Khaliq, the Al-Khaliq is the creator. So if I say all praises belongs to Al-Khaliq, the creator, then only thing I appreciated was his creation. Now I want to acknowledge Allah for everything. I want to capture everything. So I have credit for all the vocabulary. So the best word is nothing but Allah. So when you say Allah, Allah involves everything. And Lillahi means, Alhamd belongs to, Lillahi means to Allah. So Alhamd belongs to Allah alone and nobody else. Now, let me give you an example, like how it says that it belongs only to Allah alone and nobody else. Now, if I say, Sarah, you have been awarded the best student in class. Now, if there is a Sarah in the class, she must be happy. So when I say this, you are the best student in class, there is something in brackets, something there which goes without saying. What is that? It's that she was the only one student in the class who was the best and nobody else. It is understood that everybody, it's understood by everybody that only she deserved that award. So this is the meaning of belongs to her. So it just belonged, that award belonged only and only to Sarah and nobody else, and everybody understood that. So the same thing, alhamd belongs only to Allah and nobody else, and that is understood. Now, the next word is Rabb. Alhamdu lillahi Rabb. Let's see Rabb. Rabb means like Lord. So it can, Rabb can mean that somebody who's the giver of gifts, somebody who gives us, or it could be like a caretaker, or Rabb could be owner, or it can be the one in charge. So these are these kind of words which it comes in our mind. These are all the secondary meaning of Rabb. Now, the primary meaning of Rabb in this word is master. Rabb is the master. So of all the descriptions Allah gave us, He gave us a relationship with Him. So whenever we think of a relationship, there are always two parties involved, correct? So now if I think of like a marriage, so who are the two parties in marriage? Husband, wife. And if I think of family, who are the two parties? Parent, child. Now, if I think of a place of work, who are the two parties involved? Boss and the employee, the employer and the employee. And if I think of school, who's involved? Teacher, student. So if Allah calls Himself master, then who's the other party? Us. And who are we? Slave. We are the slave. If Allah is the master, we are the slave. But if He calls Himself owner, if we say Allah is the owner, then who are we? We become property. So are we a property? Or if we say Allah is one in charge, so then who are we? We are under the authority of Allah. Or we say Allah is a caretaker, then who do we become? We become the one taken care of. And if we say Allah is the giver of gifts, then who are we? The second party. We are the receiver of gift. But if we say He's our master, then we become the slave. Okay, so we first have to submit and accept Allah to be our master. That's the number one thing we need to do. Now, I'll explain further. It means that we also need to, humbly accept that we are the slaves. We have to very humbly, we have to say we are the slaves. Now, this is our main relationship with Allah. You know, the master and slave relationship with Allah this is the main relationship. The summary of the whole Quran is that in the whole Quran, you will see that He is our master and we are His slaves. We have to accept Him for everything happening to us. The reason we become depressed, or sometimes sad or angry you get angry for like for long periods of time, you are just angry, sulking, is that we can't come to terms that we have a master. That's why you get these kind of feelings, and these feelings carry on in your heart. We cannot humble ourselves that we are the slaves. Why are we doing that? So master, now let's think of it. The master has right to ask you questions, correct? Does a slave have a right to ask the master questions? No, but we complain all the time and ask questions to Allah. Why did this happen and why did that? Correct? We keep asking. So this means we have yet to understand that we have to accept Allah as our master. Now, let me give you some funny examples. Now, say if you have a phone and your phone is not working or your iPad is not working, so you keep struggling with it, and then you'll get so upset, you'll get mad, and you'll say, oh, what you'll do, you'll just like throw it down on the floor, or you'll go and crush it in your backyard, or you will stamp on it. You will say, stupid phone, this is not working, okay? But can the phone turn back and tell you, You don't have a right to do this to me. Can you? Can the phone say that? No, it won't say that. Now, let me give you one more example. Now, okay. Now, thousands of years ago, they didn't have phones. They didn't have laptops. They didn't have iPads. So what did they have? They had goats, they had cows, and they had camel. So one fine day, what happened that the master of the goat or the cow, every day he would get the milk from the goat and the cow. So one fine day, the master says, goat, enough of milk. Now time for a feast. Now, can feast. That means what's he planning to do with the goat? He's planning to eat up the goat, isn't it? Enough of the milk. Now he wants to have a big feast. So can the goat do anything? Cannot do anything. Okay, let me just search this off here. So the goat really cannot do anything. Okay, now let me give you another example. A horse rider. This horse rider, he owns a horse, and he's trying to ride on the horse, and the horse is not going fast. So what will the rider do? The rider is going to whip him to go run fast, but the horse still does not run. What will the rider do? He will whip him harder. So by definition, if you won't do that, what Allah wants us to do, the rider whipped him harder. So if we don't do what Allah wants us to do, then what did we do when we were masters? What did we do when we were the masters? We crashed the phone. We kept hitting our horse, and we killed and ate up the goat. So does Allah do that with us? No, he doesn't do that with us. It's very strange. We keep getting good and happy things in life. So does our master love us or hate us? He loves us. Why? Because we never instantly get punished for what bad we do. We have many warnings. So when Allah first gets our appreciation, alhamdulillah, then he becomes our master. See? So Allah really takes care of us. And by the way, it should not be confused with the way we think about master and slave relationship in the West during the slave trade. Like we understand the word slave, master and slave in a different way. But this does not, it's not that same relationship. So the master of that relationship, that slave and master relationship, so the master of the slave, it has a right to give you instructions 24/7, any time of the day, correct? But a student can be under a command of a teacher, or an employee can be under a command of his employer or boss for like say 8 to 10 hours in a day, 9 hours, 8 hours, and the rest of the day is his. But the slave is always under the command of his master. When the master can make the slave work, do anything at any time, irrespective of the time. So when will the slave, when does he get a chance to, to behave crazy or to cross the line a little bit? He wants to do something different or do things his master doesn't want him to. When does he do it? He will do it when the master is not watching him, right? He'll be hiding behind, oh, the master is not watching, let me do. So similarly, we start doing crazy things when we stop remembering that Allah is watching us. So if we always remember that we are slave of Allah, we will always be careful with our words and actions. So always keep in your mind, we are the slaves and Allah is our master and Allah is watching over us. And in this way, we will never do anything wrong in our life. We belong to Allah and He has complete power and control over us. We don't, and we cannot even set limits on Allah. But Allah, He sets limits on us. He will judge us on the day of judgment, and we are not going to judge Allah. Allah is going to judge us. Now, usually, masters in this world, they punish their slaves. immediately for not following rules, right? The real masters and slaves, they will punish their slaves for not following rules. But did you get punished immediately for doing something bad whenever you did it? Haven't you repeatedly made the same mistakes in spite of the consequences? So Allah allows us to keep indulging in them without immediate consequences. He gives us a chance, like for example, like I want to lose weight, so I cannot, when I see ice cream, I can't resist myself, and I see those, like maybe those donuts or some mithai, I can't resist myself, even though I know the consequences that I will gain weight. But temptation always overpowers my mind, and I can't resist it. Each time I say, okay, this is the last time, let me have one bite. Okay, I say that. Now, this is the condition with me. Now, what about the bigger and graver temptations of life? You keep doing it, but Allah keeps forgiving. He keeps giving you, like forgiving you and giving you time, till one fine day something drastic happens. Like you keep repeating the same mistakes, and eventually something real drastic has happened. So now this was the meaning for this. Now let's go to the last word of the ayah, is al-alameen. So the word al-alameen means the worlds or universe. So here al-alameen is used for people. It is not used for like the sky or the rivers or mountains. So actually this surah is about you and me and Allah. It's like about us and Allah. So it's referring to like nations of people, the ethnicities of people, the societies of people, different species. It could be like angels, jinns and animals also. And it is like different, like people of different worlds, of different places, different countries, different generations, the past generations, the present generation, the next generation. So this entire surah is about relationships. It is speaking about everyone. Nobody is better than the other. It refers to all human beings. It kills racism, tribalism, nationalism, color of your skin, brown, black, white, the background we have. So no human is superior to others. So it is like literally the end of racism. So this surah is only discussing the conditions of people. Allah is using his word to only refer to the humans and their worlds, what's happening in our world. And all of us are living in our own little worlds. And we all have our own little life, and we have our own problems. And in Surah Fatiha, we are directly addressing Allah. In Surah Fatiha, each one is directly addressing Allah. Now, let's come to the next ayah. Next ayah is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, which is also there in Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. It's repeated here. So let's understand the meaning of these two words. Now, for me, like I have a little different understanding of Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahim, as I said, Ar-Rahman is like entirely merciful, and Ar-Rahim is especially merciful. Now, the origin of both these words, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, is mercy. It comes from the word Rahma, Rahma. So Rahma actually means the womb of the mother, the tummy of the mother when the baby is inside the stomach. That means Rahma. Now, I'll explain to you that how is mercy connected to it. So it has not, the baby, when it's in the stomach of the mother, okay, the baby, does it really has any problems there? It has nothing to worry. The baby, does it have to pay any rent? No rent. The rent is paid. The baby, does it have to go and earn money to get food? No, food is provided for. The baby, does it have to like clean, has to do? No, cleanup services are covered for the baby. So the baby is like completely taken care of. Baby is, in fact, the baby is taken care of, and in fact, the baby is stretching and punching the mother also from inside. It's The baby is eating up all the food of her mother. And the mother is sick, tired, and puking. And she's still the mother with all the trouble this baby is giving her. The mother is still what she's doing. She's taking care of her child. She's taking care. And she's praying for the child that Allah, let my baby be healthy, strong, and come out in this world successfully in spite of all the troubles. So to the Arabs, the mercy, rahmah, meant in those days, it meant when someone is like covered and like completely taken care of. The word rahmah meant something which is just like the womb of the mother. The baby is like covered and completely taken care of. And that is why the word for womb in Arabic is derived from the same root word as mercy. Now, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, both mean like mercy. So why the same words are together? Why are they placed together? Now, this is something very interesting. Now, when we use two words, when we talk, we put together two words. They are like similar, right? Like I will say, I'm angry and mad, you see? Or I say, I'm happy and joyful. And I mean, they mean the same. Okay, I will say, you are dumb and stupid. So I just said it twice. Why? Because it hurts more, correct? You are dumb and stupid. It hurts more. I wanted to emphasize on it. And that's why I put the two words together so that I could hurt you more, right? So anyway, this was just a jokes apart. So over here, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim is not put together for that reason. It's put together in one sentence to highlight the difference. And the point is to show what makes them different. So we want to really see both the words separately and understand what's the difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Now, Ar-Rahman means, it means someone extremely merciful, highly merciful, incredibly merciful. And Ar-Rahman is something which is happening right now. For example, if I say, my mother is very loving, or if I say, my teacher is very merciful, or I say, my son is patient. But am I sure that my mother right now, she's sitting in another country, is she loving right now? Is she being loving right now? And am I sure that my teacher, now she's in the house, we are all here, she's in her own home, is she being merciful right now? Who knows what she's doing? Or I say, my son is patient. My son has gone to school. Do I know he's being patient right there in the classroom or with his friends? No, I don't know. So Rahim is something which is happening right now. And Rahman is like Rahman, sorry, not Rahim, I'm sorry, Rahman. So Rahman is something which is happening right now, and Rahman is also another point I can say, that Rahman is something like temporary, it is transitory, and this means actually this means it can be taken away if you do something wrong, and that's really very scary. Something like Rahma, the mercy can be taken away. Like for example, how can I explain about taken away? You can say that if you say like I'm telling I'm thirsty. Can my thirst be taken away? Yes, I'll just sip a glass of water and my thirst is gone. And I say that I'm hungry, I need food right now, I can't wait, I can't think, my brain is not working, can't think of anything else, I'm hungry, I'm extremely hungry. But can that hunger be taken away? Yes, the minute I eat food, the hunger will be gone. So we understand that Ar-Rahman is something which is extreme, it is happening right now, and it is temporary. Okay, so we've understood about Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman is something really extreme, it's happening now, and it is temporary. So now Ar-Rahim, let's come to Ar-Rahim. Now what's the difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim? Ar-Rahim means it is something permanent, always there and never going to go away. And it is not necessarily happening now, right now, and it is not extreme. Example, if I just say that Abdullah is strong, but not necessarily that Abdullah is using his strength right now, correct? So both the words are used here to show that Allah is being merciful to his creation, to all his creation right now, as well as in the future. So the whole idea of it is that Allah is merciful now and in the future, today and tomorrow and always. So Allah's mercy is beyond our imagination, much, much more than the mercy of our own mother. So Rahman, we can compare, and we can say that Rahman is like an ocean with high waves, so strong and so extreme. And Rahim is calm ocean that is endless. Now, human mind cannot imagine both at the same time. Allah's mercy is beyond imagination, cannot be limited to our imagination. Allah's mercy, we cannot even think about it. Now, the biggest mistake is when people lose their faith and they say, how can God be merciful if there are like earthquakes, people dying, disasters happening, disease, flood, so many innocent people are dying. They ask these questions because they think they can understand mercy of Allah. It is not limited to your and my, delicate and feeble mind to comprehend. We will not be able to understand. It's beyond that. These questions come into the mind of those people who don't realize why they even think, because they don't realize what? That they are the slave and he's the master. We have a master. They don't realize this. That's why these questions keep coming up in the mind. But once you firmly accept this, we will know that Allah does the best. He's the best decision maker. Whatever happens, it always happens for the best. So sometimes too much. Now, there's also one more thing. Sometimes too much mercy also doesn't do good. Now, all the students will have the experience that a teacher who is really firm and strict, students, they all sit quietly and work. But the teacher who is full of jokes and very, very cool, and so like your fear is gone and you start taking advantage of that teacher. You will have everyone in the class go crazy in the class. All will go crazy in the class. Same applies to the boss and employee relationship, all the relationships. Also look at your mom. Your mom, don't you take advantage of her mercy? She's so merciful to you, but you keep repeating the same mistakes, and yet she keeps forgiving you. And Allah's mercy is so vast that we cannot comprehend it. We all have plenty of wrong things we have done, and yet Allah is so merciful that we still have a lot of opportunities to go on with our life and correct ourselves. Now, today we complete only this much today, but at the end of it, before we close the class, I have a question. What message are you taking with you today? What have you learned? And what have you benefited from whatever we have understood today? So today, what we have understood is the difference between Ar-Rahman and Rahim. And we have understood our one-on-one relationship with Allah. Okay? What's the relationship we have? That special relationship with Allah we have understood? That He is our master and we are His slave. And once we accept this fact that He is our master, He will do everything for us and we are the slaves. Once we accept this fact, we are free of all worries because we know that He's going to take care of us. Just as I explained earlier, just as a baby is completely dependent, the baby is so helpless, right? But does the baby worry? The baby is completely dependent on the mother for everything and doesn't worry at all. So let us all leave today by feeling relaxed that we have one master watching us and caring for us. All right? All of us, keep this in your mind. If you have this in your mind, that we have just one master and we are the slave. He's our master. He is caring. Once you have this concept ingrained into your thoughts, everything in your life will start opening up and getting better and easier. Now, next week, we will understand the remaining verses of Surah Fatiha. May Allah guide and protect all of us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.